You're listening to Carrie Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
Welcome. You are listening to watching the Financial Survival Network. I'm your host, Carrie Lutz. Well, we're expecting a 25 basis point hike by the Fed today in a little more than an hour, but it's basically a fait accompli. The markets are reacting as if it had already happened. It's baked in the cake. What does that mean for real estate? Well, let's take a talk with Tracy Miller. And Tracy, you have a rather compelling life story. You weren't born into real estate. You weren't born into money. You had to kind of fight your way up to the top here. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thanks so much. So I think like a lot of people with real estate, I think a lot of us came from nothing. I don't consider myself too unique, just willing to endure the risks and the heartache that comes with it. My background, was raised in Montana, just a working class family, and decided that I wanted a little better for myself and my family. I started out really young raising kids, making not the best life decisions. So did the single mom thing of young girls for the beginning of my, from when I was 19 years old, worked my way through college, raising my girls, and went through the corporate ladder, different positions, state government, basically gained my social skills and my ability to work with people and understand just basic business through those avenues while getting my college education. After that, decided that the freedom wasn't quite there as an employee. So I decided that real estate was it's actually kind of a funny story. I decided I wanted to work with my dog. I requested for my dog to be able to come to work with me, and I was denied. And I said, that's it. I'm done.
Really?
Got to go work for myself. Yeah. So that was actually my core reason for getting into real estate was the freedom that could come with it. And I didn't understand at that time the amount of money that can come with it as well. The endless opportunities that are there if you're able and if you're willing to pursue them. So I was very fortunate with the background that I had in my different professional positions. And I, came out of the gates really strong in 2016 and was a top producer in my area within, just over a year. I was number one in my market. Did really well with my money. I decided that I didn't want to just, you learn about taxes. I mean, you learn about all the different things. If you've never come from money, once you have it, you're like, oh crap, what do I do with this? And you look around and you see people buying the cars, you see people doing all the crazy things.
Done that. Got the t-shirt.
Yep, exactly. Yep, I did. I bought the fancy car and then I sold it probably a year later. Just decided that I wanted to make money with the money that I was earning instead of spending it because there was tax advantages, all that stuff. Educated myself on that component and basically invested probably an easy 80% of my income from the beginning of year 2 all the way up until the beginning of my 7th year. And opened up a brokerage in the meantime. I've got 13 doors with half of those owned outright. So they're all cash flowing like crazy. Opened a construction wing with my husband that supports our renovation projects and our property management. And in January 1st, I decided that I was going to step back from selling and am kind of working on the retirement path from real estate, stepping into the quote unquote passive income aspect of it.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, you look too young to retire, but I guess one of those things, you're never too young to retire, are you?
No, I'll find something else to do. I love writing. I love speaking. I love teaching. My background in my corporate world was teaching and training. So I'll probably step back towards that and gift the rest of the world with some of the information that I learned over the past 7 years and make a second career out of it that has the actual freedom attached to it that I hoped to get with real estate, with my dog by my side, mind you.
All right. Well, we like to hear success stories here. In everybody's path, in everybody's career, you get to that one point where you can either go there's a fork in the road. And as Yogi Berra used to say, when you come to a fork in the road, take it. But on the
Sure.
one side is failure, the other side success. Maybe it's a
Sure.
little bit of a cliche, right? But don't you think you came to that point at some point?
Yeah, I think we all do. I definitely learned through the journey of investing about I was real close to that failure point. You get if you have the tendency to look around and see what other people are doing, and you are easily persuaded, you can make some real bad decisions real quickly. I found myself in a group of very risk averse, just loved it. They were over leveraging and doing all of that realm to get rich quick. And, I fell into that for a short 6-month period. And I got to a point where if I would have continued on that path, I would have definitely been upside down and over leveraged myself, especially with the shift in the real estate market where it went. Because I was a high income earner. So it's easy come, easy go type of attitude, where if I could get into a project, I'm like, oh, there'll always be money. I'll just keep throwing money at it. I was reeled in really quickly when my bank accounts got a little bit lower than what I was comfortable with. And I said, nope, this is a marathon game. Investing for me is going to be a marathon, not a sprint. And I stepped back and kind of quit with the over leveraging and balanced my portfolio out where I'm, half leveraged, half outright owned, and feel comfortable moving forward where I'm never in a position where my real estate owns me. I own it.
Well, there are still people out there who believe you can never be too over leveraged, right?
Yes, and you know what? And I think that works for them if they can handle that stress. And I don't know if they got plan B, plan C. I can't. It consumes me, and I just like to know that no matter what, I'm going to be able to make all of my payments that I do have leveraged and cash flow it out.
Right. So as far as taking a mortgage on a property, a rental property, you don't have any issue with that, do you?
No, I don't, as long as it's the right project. I like to add value. I don't like to buy turnkey anything just so that I have that cushion. Again, I was a high income earner, so I had the ability to take the loan out on it and then just, with my own company, my own labor, dump in 20,000 and create an asset that basically doubled itself. So if I ever needed to, I could pull and refinance and have extra income if something ever came to that. So I'm a huge believer in add value, but I understand that not all people have that ability. Most people don't have a contractor in their back pocket or the skills or the knowledge, the network that it takes to do that. So
I'm glad you raised that point, because one of the things you do now is you help people get that knowledge. Where's the first place that most real estate investors need to stop the biggest mistake that they make?
Where they need to stop the biggest mistake?
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Where they actually start. And what's the biggest mistake that I guess the question, let me rephrase it.
Sure.
What's the biggest mistake that a newbie real estate investor makes?
Don't just survive, thrive. The Financial Survival Network.
Osino Resources is a Ross Beatty-backed gold exploration company in mining-friendly Namibia. Osino's district-scale land package is situated near 2 producing gold mines, one of which Osino's management team previously developed and sold to B2 Gold. Osino's founders and management are experienced mining professionals who have already successfully developed and sold 2 companies in the past 7 years. Osino has an excellent shareholder base, with Ross Beatty owning 20%, insiders 5%, and Resource Capital Funds 8%. This is an exploration company with drills turning that you'll definitely want to pay attention to. Osino trades in New York under the ticker OSIIF and in Toronto under the ticker OSI. To learn more, go to osinoresources.com. That's osinoresources.com.
This is the Financial Survival Network, the information you need to thrive now more than ever.
Yeah. I work with a ton of them, and a lot of them come to me for mentorship, and it's hard because everyone's situation is a little bit different. And I think I guess blanketed answer is to invest with your own abilities, with where you're at in life, because people can't come in and mimic exactly what I did, because they don't have the high income, they don't have the construction crew, etc. You have to start building one of those components. So just working with a mentor that will help you analyze where you're really at, and that's going to be honest with you and able to drop their ego as to, oh yeah, I can do anything. I can teach you anything. I know everything about everything. There are so many different aspects of investing, and to be an expert in all of those and to have done all of those, I find it very hard to believe. So finding a mentor that has done something that you're able to replicate and working under them, so you can learn if you're gonna leverage, great, learn about all the different aspects, learn about the tax benefits that come with that, the tax repercussions. If you're gonna self-manage, you better be involved with associations that can teach you the local laws, that have the different forms that protect you, and just have that basic knowledge before you jump into it so that you know where you're jumping. If you're not able to self-manage, which I think most people, I mean, they can, depending on what network of knowledge they have around them. But if not, make sure that before you ever buy a property, you have a property manager that's going to be able to work with you and that's going to keep you and your property safe. And then same thing, if you're doing any sort of renovation, you don't buy that property until you have a full construction crew lined out and able to work with you. Otherwise, you've got this project, you've got all these holding costs, and your timeline is completely messed up when you get a contractor that doesn't meet those timelines, or worse, doesn't know what they're doing, takes advantage, et cetera, et cetera. Just know what you're getting into in each market.
We've all seen this.
Mm-hmm.
Having it all to do over again, what would you do differently in your real estate path?
Ooh, that is, I would have, it's hard to say. I definitely burnt myself out. I had way too many irons in the fire, and I would still be selling and earning a high income because I would be able to continue doing that if I had just taken it a little bit slower. But on the other hand, I'm like, well, I'm financially able to just kind of retire from that. So why bother keeping going forward? So I guess just know what your end goal is and know what your actual result that you're trying to obtain is. Because if you're trying to make a career out of it and just make money hand over fist for the long haul, then take it slow and do it to where you can sustain that level of high energy throughout a 20-year period. If you're wanting to do it fast and furious because you're going to get out of the game and do something differently, then put your head down and stay focused and keep your eye on the prize and just bust out 5 years, 10 years, whatever your short plan is to get where you're going to go. Just know where you want to go. It's the paths can go 15 million different directions, and your path is going to be different from everyone else's.
And if there's one lesson you'd like your children to learn, and God knows it's so hard for these kids nowadays.
Sure.
From all of your life's experience, what would you tell your kids? Or do you tell them? I'm sure you tell them all the time.
Oh God, they call it life lessons from mom all the time. They roll their eyes and like, oh God, here's another life lesson. But I mean, 100%. The stuff doesn't matter. I mean, money matters because it's the baseline that's going to get you that's what's going to pay your bills and keep you safe and keep you supported throughout your entire life. So you've got to have an income source, but what you do with that income is hands down more important than what you make. Because a person that brings in $50,000 a year and spends within that budget and invests and does something with that money that's going to create long-term wealth is just as well off as the person is more well off than the person that earns $500,000 a year and spends $450,000 a year on fancy cars and depreciating things that mean nothing. So my kids it's been beat into their heads to invest and to make your money work for you. I'm 2 out of 3 right now.
2 out of 3. 2 out of 3 is not bad.
Yes, it's okay. We'll see.
Right. Hey, so, and finally, if somebody comes to you wanting you to be their coach, how do you qualify them? Because obviously you don't want to take everybody. You can't take everybody. There's some people for their own good, you're not going to take them, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to work with somebody that I can relate with on a personal level. First of all, I learned through my real estate career, I will not work with Karens. I mean, I mean, high maintenance people with that entitled mindset, it's just not going to work for me, because I'm going to protect my energy and my myself first. So, and then outside of that, it's somebody that has a reality of a humble outlook on life, that really just wants to do better. I'm not going to work with somebody that just wants to just has a super aggressive, I'm going to take over the world mindset. It's just not my jive.
So beware of Karens, huh?
Yeah, we've had enough of them during COVID. I've had enough.
Yeah, I never knew what a Karen was till the pandemic. Now that I know, I can't run far enough. They were always among us, but
Yes.
this thing brought out the worst in them.
It did.
The worst of the worst. I mean, snitches, complaining.
Yes.
Total nightmare. All right. Well, we're good. Tracy,
Cool.
just tell us, where do we find you? How do we connect with you on the web?
Yeah, so you can find my website. That's kind of a one-stop shop for pretty much everything. It's www.tracymillerconsulting.com, and you can find my blog, or my blog there. You can find my podcast, Clock Out the Vicarious Life. You can find my social links on there, and just a little background about me.
All right, excellent. Hey, got a question for Tracy? Shoot me an email, kl@kerrylutz.com. Make sure you sign up for your free newsletter at financialsurvivalnetwork.com, so you get more of this info delivered to your mailbox weekly. And hey, put a comment on the YouTube channel. We'd love to answer you. Tracy, it's been a pleasure, and I'm sure we'll talk to you again.
Thank you so much. You guys take care.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.